we do know Donald Trump will not be there. He is kind of throwing caution to the wind, not going to any of the debates this primary season. At least that is what he told us. He was in Iowa today. Take a look at some of this video as well.
All these people here.
All right, so what we're seeing right now is Trump making a campaign pit stop at a pub in Iowa. More than 100 people packed into Kathy's Treehouse Pub and Eatery in Bettendorf, Iowa. All hoping to catch a glimpse of the former president, of course. One waitress is also seen posing with Trump and asking for his autograph on her tank top and her arm. So that's what you're going to see right now. The crowd of people cheered and gawked while Trump handed out boxes of pizza to his supporters. Let's watch as he signs her tank top. Okay, so wanted to get that in there. Some would say that was just Trump being Trump there in Iowa as well. Let's listen to some of his remarks to some of his supporters from earlier today.
But if we win this time, this will be bigger than anything we've ever done. This will be at a level that's never been done, much bigger than had we done it the traditional way, which we did do, but we just didn't get credit for it. But we did do it. We'll win it 3 times. I mean, that's the way I look at it. We'll win it 3 times. But this psychologically and in many other ways, and you understand the different ways, but because one of the things of taking this pause is it shows how bad they are. It shows how bad their policies are. You look at the border, you look at all of the things that are so horrible that are happening, and it shows how bad they are. And we'll be able to do things and get things fixed in this country that probably you couldn't have really done politically or otherwise if you did it the traditional way. So it'll be something really spectacular. It's going to be, I think it's going to be amazing. And I will tell you, so we've run twice. I've never seen the spirit that we have this time. And a lot of that spirit because you're longing for the good old days with the greatest economy ever and all those things. But how about gasoline at $1.87? How about that? No, we had the great. Remember I told you I made great deals. I don't even talk about China because of COVID, but I made one of the greatest deals ever with USMCA, but maybe the best was China. $50 billion, and remember it, and you had to stay with me. The farmers I'm talking about, mostly in this case, less the manufacturers. They were there anyway, but they were the most loyal people. The farmers were the most loyal people, and they said, sir, we're with you. I said, I'm going to get you all sorts of subsidies from China. They said, sir, we don't want subsidies. We just want a level playing field. That was the only ones that told me that in 4 years in the White House. If I said, I'm going to get you subsidies because everybody would say, oh, give me the subsidy. I'll never forget, I had 36 farmers. They represented farmers from all over the country, a lot from Iowa. We were in the Oval Office in this gorgeous room, this conference room that's so beautiful and represented so many great things. Less so lately. There's not too many great things happening for our country lately. But they represented, and I said that to them. I said, I will work it so that you guys are going to be taking. And one of the gentlemen raised his hand and said, so we don't want subsidy. We don't want a handout. We want a level playing field, and nobody can beat us. And I said, what an unbelievable thing to say. It's the only time anybody said that, and that was the whole farm group. They all agreed with it. They didn't want anything. They just wanted fairness because they were not did fairly. It was horrible what was happening to them, including with NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made. And it was really horrible. And I then made USMCA, that's Mexico and Canada, and you know how good that is. They want to renegotiate the deal now. That's always a good sign. But we took it from the worst deal to the best deal. And NAFTA was probably the worst trade deal ever made. And USMCA is one of the best trade deals ever made in this country. And one of the other deals I made was with China. You're doing a lot of business with China. Now, they're not adhering to the contract anymore. I used to call every day. Are they adhering? Are they buying? Are they buying? Because it was $50 billion I had to buy. And, you know, I misunderstood it. They said $15 billion. I said to Sonny Perdue, the Secretary of Agriculture, good guy, I said, how much have we been hurt, the farmers been hurt in this country by China trade practices? And he said, sir, $27 billion over a period of 4 years. I said, that's a lot. All right, I'm going to get it back. And I got you $28 billion actually from China. That came from China. And many of the people in this room opened up very big checks, but I got it. Everybody thought that you can't even think about getting that. I got you $28 billion. I got hundreds of billions for the country, but I got $28 billion from the farmer because of the unfair trade practices with China. The fake news doesn't want to write about that, but it's a big deal. In fact, I always say, there's no way I lose Iowa, Nebraska, any of the farm states, because who the hell else would get $28 billion from China? People would say, don't even think about it. And I'm honored to have done it, too. I'm honored to have done it. But we did fantastically well, and we made this USMCA deal. And most people said you'd never be able to get rid of NAFTA because, you know, these other countries have a lot of power. They have people representing them with a lot of power. It's tough to change a bad trade deal. We have the worst trade deal. We have a lot of bad trade deals. We got you open in Japan. We got you open in South Korea. We got you open in a lot of different places. But I got that done. They terminated NAFTA, which people said would be impossible, and we got the USMCA. So now when they want to renegotiate, which they're trying to right now, don't let them do it. But we have a very short time left now when you think about it. You know, we're talking about a very, very short time. November of next year, we're like, wow, just a little bit more than a year. But a lot of bad things can happen in a year. Tremendously bad things can happen in a year. And a lot of stupid decisions can be made. Yesterday, I watched at the United Nations, and I still haven't gotten over the $6 billion for 5 people. $6 billion. They freed up $6 billion for 5 people. They got 5, we got 5. It was a hostage swap. They got 5, we got 5. That was the good news. The bad news is they also got $6 billion, right? And you say, how the hell, who would do a deal like that? But they're all bad deals. They're all. So yesterday, Biden was speaking, and I won't even comment on the speech. But he said one thing, that we got rid of our gas, you know, we have gas weapons, and they're terrible, they're horrible, they're unbelievably lethal and powerful, but they're terrible. And he said that they basically ended all of it. They've gotten rid of them all. And then he sort of indicated that, sadly, other countries haven't followed suit. Of course they haven't followed suit. They haven't followed suit because you don't get rid of them first, you get rid of them last or simultaneously. So we got rid of this tremendous, horrible, lethal power that we need if other people have it, but other people didn't get rid. And I said, how stupid is this? How stupid is this? So it's gone from us, but other people have it. And it's just step by step, day by day. So with having these people in there, I mean, the only thing they're good at is cheating in elections. It's really true, in my opinion. They're professionals at cheating, and you got to watch those elections very carefully. Less so in your case because, you know, you run a good ship, but in some of these states, it's just horrible. It's just horrible when you look at what's happened. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, if you want to save America from the, you know, I have a script here. So far, I haven't looked down at it. I'm saying, when am I going to look at this script? I have these brilliant speechwriters, and I tend not to use them too much, but it's better that way, isn't it? Isn't it nice when you have a president who doesn't have to read a script? Isn't that nice? So if you want to save America from Crooked Joe and the radical left, then get out and be patriots, and you're all patriots. Make sure that they're registered Republicans. Get out. You have to register. Register Republicans. Get them out. Get all of your friends out. And 7 p.m. on Monday, January 15th. That's when it all begins, January 15th. On a Monday. It's a good, beautiful day. And you got to get them out 7 o'clock in the evening. That's when it starts. And it's a beautiful scene, actually. In fact, I think I'll come up for it. Should I come up? Yeah, I'll come up. I'll get them out with you. I think I'll come up. I think I will. So I'll tell my geniuses over there, we'll come up. But we're asking for a commitment, everybody, to, whatever you can, get 3 people at a minimum and come out, bring them out with you. Because caucuses, you can do that. You know, with the regular elections, it's a little bit stranger. but with a caucus, you can do that and get 3 people at a minimum and get out. And let's really start it off with a bang. They're losing in Iowa by like 35, 40 points. You know, second, Ron DeSanctimonious, who, remember, was against ethanol, totally against it, wanted to end it totally. And that would be devastating, frankly, for your farmers. It would be devastating for the farmers. But they wanted to end it. And I was the champion of it. I was the one that kept it going. And there was a lot of competition to not do it. And, yeah. I got it for, remember, 12 months. I did the whole thing on ethanol. I became the king of ethanol, but he wanted to end it. One thing I'll say about a politician, like a guy like him, he comes in, when somebody wants to end Medicare or when somebody wants to end Social Security and go up to 70, minimum age 70, which is a big jump, when they want to do that early, they may change their attitude for an election, like come and say, oh, well, I love, Social Security, but he voted 3 times against it. He wanted to cut that. He's a disciple of Paul Rhino. Do you know who Paul Rhino is? Paul Ryan. But he's a disciple of that whole group. And when they want to do it early, they may change for an election. They may get away with it. But when they change, they always go back to what they originally had. And I've been very consistent. You can read those books from years ago. I've been very consistent how we've been ripped off on trade and everything else. And I changed so much of that. And then this administration gives it right back. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But when you want to look at how somebody is, they go back to what their original thought is what their thought is. And they wanted to do big damage to Social Security. They wanted to raise that age to 70, and they wanted to do big damage.
Okay, so Andrew Kraft back here just a little after the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Wanted to show you some of former President Donald Trump campaigning there in Iowa. Of course, we're just 1 week away from the second RNC primary debate. Trump likely won't be on that debate stage yet again there in Simi Valley, California at the Reagan Library. So we'll have to see what he does the day of. Remember, for the first debate in Milwaukee, the very same day he had a sit-down interview with former Fox host Tucker Carlson. So we'll see whether or not he does yet another kind of counter-programming event. Some reports out there that he's going to join the striking UAW workers on the picket line at one of these plants in either, Detroit, Michigan, or Missouri, or Toledo.